Welcome back to Flicker with Jack and Scott, the channel where two dear friends, critics, and cinephiles provide your weekly fix for that cinematic itch. Here, as always, I am your co host, Jack Hanley, here with my partner in crime and titan of the Oscar pools, Scott Agner. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing extremely well. I hope you are doing great as well.
I love that we're back for a category that's quite interesting this year in our Oscar poll. And for our viewers out there, of course, we always point out at the beginning of the episode that we have not touched base with each other prior. We don't know each other's notes, although it may seem like that when you watch us a lot, that we somehow have copied each other. It's just who we are. That's why we're the friends that we are with this.
Separated at birth.
So I'm kind of hoping that maybe this category will have a little bit of a divergence in some of our opinion, because otherwise we're going to have exactly the same score this year. So we need, this could be the category to break away, Scott.
I don't know. You know, I always think that's a possibility, and then I look at it, I'm like, I don't know. I think he might just say the same things as me. So we'll see.
So we are doing the category of Best Actor. And as always, let's look at our nominees this year. Scott, we have Bradley Cooper for Maestro, the great Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. So, Scott, my friend, who is taking home that statue?
I think this is although there is a chance for an upset here, I think it is all indicators seem to be pointing that you want to mark that checkbox for Cillian Murphy on your sheets. I think there is a slight chance at an upset, but I think all indicators seem to be pointing at Cillian Murphy for his performance in Oppenheimer as your surefire ticket to your great Oscars handiwork here.
Yeah, sadly, we promised some new excitement, but I'm going to double down with exactly that. This will be Cillian's year for this. And actually, it is perhaps maybe one of the Oppenheimer wins of the night that I'm not going to be sore about.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? I'm watching his films over the years and just an immaculate actor. And again, he really did a transformative experience for this film. I loved that he did it in such a quiet manner and had real sophistication, which he always brings to the table, right? So yeah, he's going to win this. This is pretty easy. Mark it down.
Yeah.
Look for his speech that night. Continuing that tradition lately in Hollywood, Academy, take note of Irish actors out there, and we're great.
I mean, he's a great choice. He having watched him now, rise the ranks of becoming increasingly more popular and increasingly more perhaps even character actor sort of centered. He's a phenomenal choice. He's a great actor. He always brings it. I don't think I've ever, even in a role that seems a little, obscure or obtuse, he seems to still deliver crushing performances every single time. So he is a great choice. I think he's an obvious choice. He's a great choice. And I would not be disappointed with this choice either.
Yep, not at all. He is going to ride that big Oppenheimer wave and take this home. But Scott, who should be winning this category?
Yeah, so as much as I do love Cillian Murphy's performance, and I even almost put him in the should here, I'm still going to sway just slightly to a person that I may even have a little bit more fondness for in terms of his overall acting body. I'm going to swing my should to Paul Giamatti. I love the guy, and I absolutely loved his performance in The Holdovers. I think he is such a fun actor to watch. I think regardless of what he's doing, he always brings this little sense of absurdity to whatever it is that he's doing that I can never get enough of that. I actually, this is kind of interesting too. While watching that film, I knew nothing about kind of like the production of the film. And I'm watching it and I'm like, man, what is going on with Paul Giamatti's eye? Why? Like, this is insane. I can't take my eye off this like wandering eye that he has. And I couldn't figure it out while watching it. I'm like, it looks so good. Did he just like method train himself into like having a lazy eye for this whole thing? I'm like, that's not possible. So then I'm like, well, is it CG? That would be crazy to put that much CG into this indie film. I don't know what's going on. And he was not saying a word about it in interviews. And he finally came forward and he said that they worked with a great prosthetics person to actually create a contact lens that he wore. He said, I can't give you all the secrets because it's like this proprietary thing, but this contact lens that he wore to do that. And I was completely enamored with that. And I think he absolutely crushed that role.
First of all, I knew this would be your choice. I knew watching this. I know of your love for Paul, as we all share, right? And I think this would be a real chance for the Academy to kind of just do that rewarding
Yeah.
of kind of like a lifetime of a body of work. He has for so long, like all the great character actors, been such an underappreciated
Yeah.
actor, right? But
Yep.
but like, he's an addition, by the way, that in any movie, the moment he comes on, you're like, this has been made better by
Oh
his
yeah,
presence,
for sure.
right?
100%.
It's such a diversity of his roles and his background and his performances over a lifetime of a career. I hope that happens. I would be thrilled if that happens. No offense to Killian, you'll do fine, and you're going to be great throughout. I don't know how many more great Paul Giamatti performances we're going to get.
Yeah.
So I would be thrilled here if he were to pull off that upset. For me, I am still, and by the way, this is also a chance that I might give a shout out here to someone who I've been evangelizing from the rooftops forever, and that is my standing of the great character actor, Domingo Coleman. I have been preaching, as you've heard me, Scott, all over town about this actor from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And kind of like when everyone discovers your favorite indie garage band, I'm a little upset.
I was there first.
That like Rustin is the performance. No.
Right.
Go back to Zola. Go back to
Yeah.
all of the astonishing supporting performances that he's been great in. I'm just thrilled that he's getting some love and that he's getting national attention.
Yeah.
He is a force. He can do everything, and he is just marvelous. Like Paul.
Some of his like red carpet interview type stuff too, and like have been immaculate. Just such an interesting person to hear what he has to say, and such a kind, generous, thoughtful, honest human being. Yeah, it's hard not to be like this guy. He's charming. He's perfect.
He is unfairly talented, and I'm so glad that at least the world is discovering him, even if for somewhat of a banal role. I'm just glad that he's able to do his thing. But I think will be Killian this year. I think he really put the work in on kind of like a boot camp of a production in the making of this film, stretching the age bound. Again, it's something that the Academy will definitely, I think, honor.
Yeah.
So I would definitely go with Cillian Murphy here as the who should. Scott, as we wrap up, what is the actual best performance of the year?
Okay, so I've got my actual best. I've got a shout out also, and my actual best is from something I don't think we've had come up in any capacity yet on our videos, our Oscar videos.
Oh.
I'm not sure that we've mentioned this film or this person or even the director at all yet. So this is my actual. I'll give you my actual best, and then I'll give you my shout out as well. So my actual best. This is the only other performance that I could think of as something that stuck with me, and that's something I look for a lot when I go through these categories. I think oftentimes there is something that I might say, yeah, like on a technical level, it's better. But for me, I rely so heavily on just something that has to stick with me, something that I just have to continue to walk with and think about. And for me, the only other performance I think that I saw that really did that is our good buddy Barry Keoghan for Saltburn. I just absolutely loved that performance. I mean, frankly, I don't think I've seen a performance of his that I did not love. But that was one that, like the complexity of his performance stuck with me. I started continuing to think about all the minor details, the emotional shifts, the kind of really subtle stuff that he put into that. I just think that was a phenomenal role for him. It's not too far off from this character that he, unfortunately, maybe fortunately, he keeps kind of going in this direction, which I'm all for. But it's not too different from things we've seen in the past. But I'm just all for it. I'm all for that performance.
Love your pick. As usual, that is my runner-up for performance this year.
Nice.
I am so glad that he is, again, like Colman Domingo, an amazing actor who for too long has been underappreciated, and I'm glad is starting to get that love and appreciation this year, even if it's from TikTok and Murder on the Dance Floor. I'll take it because he needs to be seen and known more, and he does some of his best work here right? Often relegated to just that weird kid
Mhm.
in a subservient role, letting him have center stage. He showed
Yeah.
real complexity.
Yeah, it allowed him to take that same weird kid thing and like really do something with it, which yeah, I just thought was incredible.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think that was my runner up for the year. Scott, finally, we have a little bit of variance here. My actual best this year is for, again, and you said it, and I think so beautifully, when there's a performance that so sticks with you that it just kind of haunts you throughout the season, throughout the year, that you revisit and think about the nuances of the performance all the time here. And for me, I'm going to go with Andrew Scott from All of Us
Mm,
Strangers.
yeah.
Um, I have actually in the past not been a stan of Andrew Scott in the way that so many other people have from his
Yeah.
Fleabag fame and
Yeah.
other things. And I've, you know, as a person who's passionate about Shakespeare, watching his varying performances, I have sadly, and I'm sorry, Andrew, I have sadly not always appreciated the full Andrew Scott of it all. But
Hmm.
I think this year he gave such a beautiful and nuanced and heartbreaking performance in a nuanced, beautiful, and heartbreaking film that
Yeah.
just really has stuck with me. Much like Past Lives did in another way, this film just keeps being revisited for me every day. And I think that's the mark of great acting. We
Yeah.
talk a lot about that distinction between big acting
Mhm.
and best acting. And I
Very
think
much
that
so.
he hits it out of the park in that category. The
Yeah, and
nuance
actually
for me was beautiful.
yeah, and actually my shout out performance, it became sort of my secondary shout out performance because again, it wasn't quite what I would maybe not even necessarily categorize it as a, could also be maybe categorized as a supporting role, but it was a lot more nuanced. But another one that I really loved was TU in Past Lives. So,
Yes.
that was my runner up and definitely one I wanted to shout out because again, we've got this really incredible performance that sometimes kind of shifts into the more subtle things and sometimes probably does not go for the big, which is what we tend to see. But it was just another performance that I was absolutely enraptured by this season.
Well, I love our choices. I think it's going to be a very predictable category, but I love, and the purpose of this series is to hopefully you viewers go out there and see some of our curated choices and discover some other great films and performances this year. Scott, if people are new to our channel or new to us, how can they find out more?
Well, you can find us on all of the socials, right? So we try to make our
All of
presence
them.
all of them. You can look us up, on Facebook, all the usual places. If you've been with us for a while, right, we celebrate that. We encourage you to keep coming back and listening to us ramble about the things we care so passionately about. If you're new to us, of course, you can find us here on YouTube with that like and that subscribe, so you get our next bit of content here. I don't know anything else, Jack.
That is it. We thank you for joining us. We love this project. We are excited to see, along with you at the Academy Awards, how poorly we've done here. But we thank you for being with us on this journey. So, like and subscribe if you like this channel. Share with someone you love who also enjoys cinephilia. And we'll see you for next episode. Take care, buddy.